Can you just maybe the good place to start would be with the injury updates. After the game in Colorado, you mentioned how you expected everyone, I think, but except Gomis, to be available on Wednesday, including Oso and Wingo. And is that still the case? Is there anything changed on that front?
Yeah, we'll go through our final checks with Long and Wingo in our match day -1 today. So they've been pushing right to the wire. All signs are that it's looking positive, but again, we'll get through this training session and through the final testing that's required. Derek Etienne's the only major doubt for this game. Unfortunately, he picked up a bit of a groin injury against Colorado, hence him coming out at halftime. And then, as you're aware, people like Brandon Savania, they're not rostered for this CAN Champs, given the 30-man roster and the timing on that with his return from injury. So yeah, everything seems to be in a good space. I'll get through this training and we'll know more on Wingo and Long's availability for the match tomorrow.
We'll go next to James.
Thanks, Nicole. Hey, John.
Hey James, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Are you sensing any of that cup final anticipation in the air around the side now that we're 24 hours out?
Yeah, I mean, I've just met the leadership group. We've just finished our sort of cup final connect, and yeah, the focus was there was a real intense focus around what we've got to get done tactically. Some of the elements around cup finals that group have got to be ready to commit to and manage. And then just the captain's passion and enthusiasm for the game. Like he's desperate to win this trophy. This group have been together for 2 years, and they haven't been able to win anything together yet. So there was definitely some real passion and good energy coming from the skipper, and you can sense how excited they are to play, but not excited, over the top. There was a real sort of intense discussion around what we need to get done, and I enjoyed that today.
We'll go back to John.
Thanks, Nicole. John, the last time you played Vancouver, it was, I think, a 4-0 loss in April. How how much has the team sort of changed since then? I guess is my first part of the question. The second part is tactically, what are you expecting from Vancouver tomorrow?
Well, I think coming into Vancouver last time, it was pretty humbling. We'd been on a decent roll, and I think we conceded, from a little error right at the beginning of the game, and then got very naive towards the end with two goals that came from one from our set piece, and then another set piece. So I think the first things first, when you come into a final, those little details have to be right. We've been together for a long period of time. I think the team know each other better now, and they've developed that hunger because they've put themselves in this moment. There's a hunger and desire there. They worked hard to get here, and there's a chance to take a moment. So, from the first game of the season to one of the first games of the season to now one of the last games of the season, we're different. It's a different group. And I think there'll be a different level of intensity. I think with Vancouver, they're a really well coached team. I mean, Vanni has a very clear identity and style. I think they've recruited. I said this last time. I think Axel Schuster's done a great job in recruiting a team that fits the identity and the style of play. So you see that every player has been molded into the way that Vancouver go about games, and what we know about them is they work. They work as hard as any other team in the league, and that they don't stop. They're relentless in that work. But at the same time, tactically, I always see this team committed and together from the first whistle to the last. So, coming up against a really good coach in Vanni, and a team that's been well put together by the club to support them.
We'll go back to John.
Uh, John, yeah, I don't know that this isn't as intense as a rivalry as the one with Montreal, but it is a Canadian rival. But do you get a sense that, that is it fueled about wanting to put one over Vancouver because it is bragging rights in Canada?
I think it's just cup final time. Lorenzo, Ferre came to Canada to win trophies. They're used to winning trophies. Osorio, Larry, Etal. I mean, Sean Johnson. These are men that are used to winning, and they've put themselves right in that arena tomorrow night to give themselves a chance to lift some silverware for the fans, for the city, and for themselves, and for as they said today, about winning together, about achieving something together. Those elements are going to be key. So, I think the rivalry piece, it doesn't matter who's in front of us. It's just a cup final. I mean, they'll be on home ground, and that home ground gives them a bit of an advantage, but at the same time, for us, just eyes on, lifting some silverware for this club.
We'll go to Har next.
Hey, John, it's Har in Vancouver. Lovely to see you. We know Vanny likes to celebrate. He likes to sometimes take his shirt off, run around. If John Herdman wins, what kind of celebration can we expect to see from you?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, I'll be pretty excited, to be honest. But I haven't been thinking about my celebrations. I'll tell you that. Let's just see what comes to us in the moment. I was at that game. I think there was a forward roll, and then the shirt off, and then there was a bit of trouble, I think, from what I remember. But Vanny's a class guy. I've known Vanny for a while. I mean, obviously, my son's been at the Caps for a period of time, probably since he was could kick a ball. But Vanny's just a class act. He's passionate, he's fun, and he's tactically one of the best in the league, and excited to come up against him. I don't think I'll be antagonizing him either, but I know we'll be shaking hands after the game, regardless of who wins.
We'll go back to James.
Thanks again, Nicole. John, you've had to shuffle your side a lot of late. Had starters and finishers manage those minutes. Does all that go off to the side for this one-off final? And maybe just what's your message to the guys going in?
Well, I think both teams they had to manage their squads. It's been a heavy schedule right through to this moment, and we had to manage it the weekend. Both of us, both teams, weren't able to get results, and on the road for us, and it was tough. But at the same time, we've got a good squad here. The lads that went in to Colorado, I thought they put a big shift in altitude, and the guys that came in to try and win the game at the end, they just couldn't get over the line. So tonight is the past. The league is on hold. That playoff push is another chapter in our book. This one's ready to be written. They've got a chance to get out there tomorrow night and do what these fans have been waiting for since, I don't know, 2019, 2020. It's been a while since we've lifted a trophy and give our fans something to really celebrate about. But also it's that ticket into CONCACAF, getting that next level of opposition, which is important for this group's evolution. I think going into where they want to get to as a club, which is back to the top of the MLS East in terms of what we're winning. So the message is clear. It's a cup final. It all gets left out there, everything. And if they leave it out there together, we've got enough quality in this team to win football matches, which we've shown when it's come together in those moments in the season, whether the game against Montreal at home, etc. We've definitely shown we can win football matches in big moments.
And one last quick one, if that's all right. When you hear the phrase cup final, where does your mind go? Whether that's your career or just life in general, what is a cup final to you?
just win, find a way to win, find a way to win. It'll not come down to, you know, the tactical piece. I think that's an important part. It comes down to the moments in the game. Those moments where a 1v1 duel can decide it. A moment where, you know, someone switches off on a set piece and, you know, that the margins are going to be tight. So we just have to find that way to win, but stay in the game. And that's as a coach, stay in the game. And as a player group, like stay right there with that cup final intensity.
We'll go to Har next.
John, what's your thoughts on if this goes to penalties? Is that a format you like? Would you like to see a different deciding outcome if it's tied after 90 minutes? What are your thoughts on penalties?
Yeah, I think if this was not midweek games and in a busy schedule, you would love to go at extra time. I think that's the players appreciate that, to try and win it on the field as opposed to through set pieces. So I think for us, just given the game schedule, and probably the same for Vancouver, you know, we've got a game on Saturday. They're fighting to be in the top four. We're fighting to be in the top eight. And, you know, for us, you know, that opportunity to get the game done without extra time is probably the best thing at this moment in time. Whether it's not the thing that you always want to do straight after a final whistle. We had it in the Leagues Cup recently, and it was just weird, you know, when the whistle blows and, you know, you're straight to set pieces, penalties. It's a strange feeling, but I think it'll be welcomed given how busy the schedule is and how vulnerable our squad's been to injuries.